give you the same prompt 5 times instead of one. So just bear with me. All right, we are in business and welcome to another exciting meeting of Quantum Leap Advanced Toastmasters Club. As is the custom, we will take introduction from our guests first. Toastmaster Hannah, please introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Hannah. I'm from Namibia, somewhere in Africa. And I thought, oh, one day I must come and visit you again. Usually Saturdays is a bit very busy, but today I make the day to come and visit you. I've been a Toastmaster for about 14 years, and I still enjoy visiting Toastmasters all over the world. And I have met Sudarshan personally. That was a great excitement. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you. Over to you.
Great, great Toastmaster Hannah. And it's amazing that after meeting Sudarshan in person, you feel compelled to meet him again virtually. I'm just, I'm just kidding. Of course you would. So thank you so much for joining. We are honored to have you. And please, you're more than welcome to this club, just like a member would be uh, at any point in time. We have Mr. Muhammad Yusuf. Would you please introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone. This is Muhammad Yusuf Arsi. I am the member of CA Toastmaster Club Lahore and also serving as a VP membership of this club. I am very much passionate to attend meetings of Toastmaster and I want to be a good communicator and a good public speaker. That's why I visited and I always try to join where I got any opportunity, where any meeting of Toastmasters is being held. So I am interested to join the Toastmasters meeting. That's why I decided to join you today and look forward to have a great meeting today. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. We are honored that you could join us. And we have Mr. Ibrahim Ghauri and his father, Mr. Farhan Ghauri. Please introduce yourselves.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Muhammad Ibrahim Ghauri, and he is here to recite Quran today, as he also recited last time in the last meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. So with this, we would actually start the meeting formally, and we will invite our junior little Toastmaster to share a few verses of the Quran. Please go ahead.
Can you please say again? We could not hear.
Yeah, please share the verses of the Quran.
Ibrahim. أعوذ
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
Thank you so much, and Jazakallah. So, yes. So, with this, we start the meeting proper. And before I move ahead, Toastmaster Mubina Rose was supposed to join us for the role of language evaluator, but so far she has not joined. So, can I request Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim to take this up till she joins? Would that be okay? Salman, are you there? Okay, we'll move ahead for now and hand over the floor to our Toastmaster of the day, a Toastmaster who is a district leader in approximately 123 districts in around the world. So, apparently so, because every week we see an announcement that he's been elected or appointed a district leader in a remote district somewhere. Truly a global superstar. Please put your hands together for DTM GK Ajay.
Thank you, DTM Talha. Thank you for those wonderful lines of introduction. I'm not a superstar, and I am also not a part of 123 districts. I am a part of 4 districts: South Africa, in Russia, Pakistan, our club, and Condas district. So these are my 4 clubs, 4 districts. So moving on to my role, Toastmaster of the day. So as a Toastmaster, I have to speak on the meeting structure for the benefit of guests, particularly that little guy who has recited Quran. So our meeting is divided into 3 segments. The first segment is about prepared speeches, wherein the speaker prepares his or her speech and delivers in front of the audience. The second part is table topics master, wherein you will be invited to speak, particularly. So please be ready, my child, to speak on the topic. And the third and most important part is the evaluation segment. Evaluation is the backbone of the Toastmasters meeting and Toastmasters member. So without evaluation, you don't know how you are performing. You don't know how you performed well. So those areas will be covered during the evaluation segment. And GE, I know the GE name, DTM Talha.
Sorry?
General evaluator. General evaluator.
Myself, Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imran
Okay.
GK.
So with this, I would like to invite the general evaluator onto the stage to introduce his team. So over to you, general evaluator. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Okay. Would it be better if you introduce all the role players?
Yeah, sure. I will do it.
So nice of you.
Yeah, no problem. Is Mubina Rao in the room? Let me check quickly.
She is actually trying to join. She just messaged me. If
Okay.
she does, it's fine. Otherwise, I've asked Toastmaster Salman to be the language evaluator for now.
Okay. Toastmaster Irfan, could you please explain the role of a language evaluator and the word of the day as well? He's not there, DTM Talha.
Yeah, I think he's away, but word of the day is lucid, and lucid
Okay.
means And language evaluator looks at the language used in the meeting and points out errors and suggests improvement. So I'm very sure that pretty soon Veena will be with us, or
Okay.
either that or Salman. So we just go ahead, right?
Okay. So the next role player is the timer. In the agenda, it is mentioned as Toastmaster Quantum Leap AI. So are we
Yes.
incorporating AI timer?
Yeah, no, it's not exactly AI.
Okay.
That's those DTM IRM being fanciful. Actually, it's automated because it will be in my background. There will be videos showing the red, green, and blue. Sorry, red, yellow, and green, and no one will need to manually time. So that's pretty much how it is.
Okay. Okay. So for the benefit of guests, we have two prepared speeches today, and I think the time allotted for both the speakers are 5 to 7 minutes. The timer will show green card at 5th minute, yellow card at 6th minute, and red card at 7th minute. Still, the speaker has 30 seconds to conclude his or her speech. There is no hard and fast rule to stop the speech when the red card is up. We have 30 seconds more time to conclude the speech. So this is for the prepared speeches. And coming to the table topics, the speaker will have 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, green card will be shown, 1.5 minute, yellow card will be shown, and red card will be shown at 2 minutes. Here also, the speaker will have 30 seconds to conclude his or her topic. And moving on to the evaluations, each evaluator will be given 2 to 3 minutes of time to provide the evaluation for the prepared speaker. And green card will be shown at 2 minutes, yellow card will be shown at 2.5 minutes, red card will be shown at 3 minutes. Here also, the evaluators will have 30 seconds grace period to conclude their evaluation. So this is the role of a timer. And so moving on to the next segment, which is the keynote speaker, which is a keynote speech. Let me introduce the keynote speaker. So he is a highly experienced banker with extensive leadership experience in payments, credit cards, consumer lending. He has a diverse work experience spanning over multiple industries and roles. So he is currently serving as the head of retail banking at the National Bank of Al Quain. My apologies if I pronounce it wrongly. And he has a solid background in banking and financial services. Most interesting part is he is also a TEDx speaker. He is a DTM in Toastmasters, and he is the founding member, one of the founding member of the Quantum Leap Advanced Toastmasters Club. He is none other than DTM Sudarshan. So please welcome with a thunderous round of applause for the keynote speaker, DTM Sudarshan. The stage is yours.
Thank you. And I would like to begin my session with a thank you to DTM Iram. She messaged me about 5 minutes before the meeting started saying the TMOD needs your introduction. And I said, I refuse to give you one. Introduce me as you will. I haven't had this kind of an introduction in a long time. So the thanks goes in equal measure to DTM Ajay and DTM Iram. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a prime example of what my keynote speech is all about today. To be the cause for someone else's smile is a privilege bestowed upon each and every one of us because we are born as human beings with a sentient brain which enables us to think. Therefore, we are the only organism that exists on this planet Earth which has this quality to discern lucidly what is right and what is wrong. And therefore, that choice to be the cause instead of saying because is something that we all carry with us. And my talk over the next 10 to 12 minutes is going to focus primarily on how to be that cause. I'm sure all of you in your school life have had this one 5-mark question that was a sure shot if you had even remotely touched your textbooks. That was give reasons why. Whether it was sciences, history, English, Shakespeare, whatever it is, you would have this question accosting you. Give reasons why. And the question would be, in the battle of so-and-so, give reasons why Napoleon lost. An average kid who scored 5 on 5 would write, Napoleon lost the battle because the word because there becomes prominent. And when you look at this word because, B-E-C-A-U-S-E, because, it has something about it which to me personally strikes as very jarring. Strikes as a word in which defeat is all encompassing. Because the moment you stand in front of someone and say because, you are, number one, defensive. Number two, you are ascribing the reason for your defensiveness to things outside of you, things in your surroundings, or you are at worst accusing someone else for your failure. Remember, as the old adage goes, which was given to us by David Ogilvy, you are as good as your last half an hour. And therefore, the moment you say because, in your personal life, in your professional life, in your social life, in your spiritual life, all that you are doing is externalizing your shortcomings, which means you're putting someone else in a position of benevolence to either accept your reasons or forgive you. Both of which, in my opinion, are recipes for staying behind, getting complacent, and reveling in mediocrity. Therefore, try and look at every instance where you're using because to justify anything. Because when you start saying because, and that is one of the reasons why Wren and Martin, the grammar Bible, so to speak, advises you never to start a sentence with because. The reason is very simple. The moment you start a sentence with because, you have externalized your defeat, and that is going to harm you in the long run. So how do you then address this? What do you do to take your because out of your vocabulary and bring in because? Now, how does this split? Just write the word because in front of you and put an hyphen between BE and CAUSE. The moment you hyphenate these two words, you have delinked or decoupled the reasons for your barriers and automatically started addressing how can you be that vital ingredient which can take things forward. Let me give you an example. I was all of 21 or 22. I was given a task by my then boss, and he said, Sudarshan, here is 350 rupees. Go book your bus ticket. Go to this city called Aurangabad. Sit in the factory, ensure that the production of these particular televisions are supervised by you. Ensure that the goods are shipped to Chennai. Come back to office. I was 21 or 22 years old. My counterpart in the factory was an ex-army man in his late 50s. Someone that would not listen to anyone, let alone an upstart like me. I traveled, I went to the factory, sat there, begged him, pleaded with him, coaxed him, cajoled him, bribed him with meals, to no avail. I came back completely defeated to Mumbai, reported to my boss saying, I tried everything, but because Mr. Chopra was not listening, I couldn't do anything. Nothing worked. I tried my level best, but I'm sorry. He just wouldn't listen. So my boss leaned back in his chair, swung around a bit, and then looks at me and says, so what did you do? Are you telling me you traveled all the way back overnight to tell me you failed? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Here I was looking at him and looking at myself, thinking, hey, buddy, I'm in this first ever job. I'm still wet behind the ears. I don't know what corporate life is. Why are you putting so much pressure on me? These are my thoughts. The words just kept saying, but because he said so, but because he said so. And Ashok looks at me and says, stop saying because. Show me what can you do to fix the situation. And he just said, get out. The whole office was listening to this transaction. I felt like a worm, not knowing what to do. And think about it. I am fresh out of college, zero knowledge of corporate life. And this man has humiliated me in front of everyone. But 10 minutes later, he's at my desk, says, dial the number. Let's talk to him. And then he gave me the tricks which I'm going to share with you. He said, make yourself the catalyst for him to look at what you need. How do you do that? Put yourself in his shoes. Ask him, starting with, what is it that you need to do what I need you to do? Then find a way to get it delivered. Once you do that, automatically you become a catalyst to progress towards where you want to be. Is it easy to do? Is it possible for you to do it in every instance? Most likely not. Most likely in life, it's easier to say because than to be the cause. And we see this time and time again. 99% of the people around us, when Pathways was launched, were cribbing, crying, moaning, whimpering about wow, how the old program was excellent and how Pathways is so boring and so amorphous and we cannot manage it. And guess what? They never became a DTM in the old pathway, old program. They hardly ever completed 5 speeches in the new path and yet kept complaining. But those that embraced it with both hands, an example of that being Talha himself, who completed about 7 or 8 paths in the first 2 years or 3 years, that is being the cause. By going out there, getting your hands dirty and doing it and demonstrating that it is doable. Remember, Mount Everest sat there unconquered for centuries, for millennia, till someone went up there and planted a flag. And then it's now become a highway where everybody is traveling up and down. Same thing happens when you choose to be the cause. If you choose to say that I will walk the path, come what may, it automatically starts opening doors for yourself to begin with. But you then become an object of emulation, which is where you transform from being someone who's on a journey for individualistic pleasure to someone that inadvertently becomes a beacon of hope for a whole lot of others. Again, as is my wont, I will tell you all a story. I remember this incident from my childhood very vividly. I was given a task by my father to go to a nearby cobbler's shop and get a couple of his shoes fixed. The cobbler was sitting there stitching one of my dad's shoes, and I was standing in front of him, cribbing and moaning about my playing time being lost in standing in that shop and getting those shoes fixed. He didn't say anything. He was humming a song very loudly. Suddenly, in the middle of the song, he stopped, looks up at me and says, Baba, let me tell you something. You should be extremely happy that you are going to allow your father to walk further than what he thought he could with these pair of shoes. See, as I put the last stitch, the shoe has become beautiful in shape. Now I'm going to polish it. So tomorrow morning, when your father walks in these shoes, he will be proud of himself. You know why? It's because of you. So what if you give up 5 minutes of your playing time to make your father proud? Why don't you think about it like that? Those words from that uneducated person suddenly shook me to the core. That point in time when I was 11, 12-year-old, I didn't understand the importance of what he said. But as I grew up and I saw him repeatedly doing this for so many other people, pithy, rustic intelligence doled out as advice, with the only purpose for them to look at themselves as being an important cog in the wheel for someone else. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is being the cause. You and I have been put here on this earth with the ability to communicate, with the ability to ideate, with the ability to impart and imbibe, only because we are a cog in the massive wheel of life. Each of us, in our own capacity, within our own limitations, within our own abilities, is a prime mover and a catalyst for someone else. If you don't believe me, just turn around and look at the number of people that you interact and impact on a daily basis. Some very thought through and thoughtfully, and some very unconsciously. Remember, when you are passing somebody on the street, you are waiting on a railway platform to catch a train, you are waiting in a taxi line to get a hold of a cab, and all you do is smile at somebody else. You don't know the person, you may never see the person again. That one act of a smile may enlighten somebody's bad day. It might just put hope in a suicidal person's heart, saying, there is someone that cares. And you are doing it unconsciously with absolutely no investment from it. Now, if you take that and put it into other aspects of your life, if you are just 2 seconds of conscious before the words tumble out of your mouth, before an action takes place from you, suddenly you transform from saying, because someone didn't do something, you didn't achieve what you needed to someone who's become the cause for someone else to achieve, and thereby you achieve. Again, an example. I was in a sales job at one point in time, and one of my dealers was fighting bitterly with me because across the street from him, I had appointed another dealer to distribute our products. So this fellow was screaming, shouting at me, saying, because of you, I'm going to lose business. So I didn't have a clear answer to give him. I was following the mandate from the head office. When I crossed the road and went to the other guy, he tells me something totally different. He says to me, and I quote, the more number of shops that sell your brand of product, more the customers will believe that this is a product that I need to buy, because they are seeing the same brand in 6 shops. And therefore, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to sell your product. Please appoint more so that the best man or the best woman in the market will win. Now, this was a paradigm shifting thought for me. One is a guy who's complaining, because you appointed that company, I'm going to lose business. The other company saying, because you have only 2, business may not come, have 6, have 10, and more people will know you. And that is the multiplier effect of being the cause. Look at each of us. Most of us here are DTMs. Many of us have been in the Toastmaster program for decades, if not years. And a lot of us would proudly tell each other that my mentee won. What is that? That is you being the cause for someone else's success. And when your mentee succeeds, is it just the mentee succeeding? It's you as well, simply because you have been that proponent for somebody to move 2 steps further than what they thought they could. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the primary essence of how leadership evolves. Because if you look at the most successful leaders in the world, they are people builders. Whether you look at a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates or a global leader in the political arena or in the film world or wherever else, these are people who manage to to be the cause for a bunch of others to excel them. And that is when the leadership tree flowers and prospers. Otherwise, you will see a lot of great people who are a one generation wonder, who come, who do things and who disappear. Some great examples exist in history. Adolf Hitler was one. Came as a firebrand. Nobody wants to emulate him. Nobody wants to be like him. Nobody quotes his thoughts anymore unless it's in a very negative context. And that happens only because they have never nurtured, they have never built, they have never been the cause for someone else to grab hold of their coattails and go further than them. This takes a lot of empathy and an equal amount of courage, because someone that is willing to be a catalyst is willing to give something of himself or herself to someone else for them to prosper. And this someone else does not need to be a person. It could be a cause, it could be an organization, it could be an organism, it could be the nature itself. It is entirely up to you. How do you want to be the cause for what can progress further? The other thing that you will notice is people that choose to be a cause for someone else's growth seldom seek the glory for themselves. They get the glory in the other person's success. And that satisfaction that you derive is a filial satisfaction, which you will not get in any other pursuit. This satisfaction comes in the knowledge that somehow, somewhere, you have emulated the immortal lines of that Hindi song, which goes something like "Kisi ki muskurahaton pe ho nisar, kisi ka dard mil sake to le udhar." Literally translated to, if you can be the reason for someone else to smile, you should feel grateful. If you can borrow someone else's pain and rid them of the load for a little while, you should be grateful. Now, that is a sentiment that is there in all of us. Many a number of times we feel constrained by circumstance, by opinions, by the crowns of thorns that we choose to wear ourselves, saying, oh, but if I do that, will I lose out? Will I be last in the rat race? Will I be the last person to get to the exit in the airport if I don't crowd the door of the bus that takes me from the aircraft to the terminal? That is the thought that assails almost all of us. And is it wrong? Absolutely not. It is right to think like that. Where ultimately, even in the aircraft, the air hostess says, first put on your mask before you help others. But in the process, if you remember, you have to also help the other. Somewhere that feeling will multiply in you becoming a richer person for that experience. Because ultimately, the goal of life is to live richly. To live richly, you don't need riches. You need a bounty of goodwill. That goodwill comes only when you can give a bit of yourself and in return get a windfall of goodwill, which will take you further in your evolution as a human being. This is a very deep concept, a concept that is prescribed in pretty much every religion, prescribed in every walk of life. However, somewhere along the way, each of us forgets or sometimes chooses to forget that by giving, you actually multiply. By being the cause, you can get rid of the because the moment you keep the because close to you, you are building barriers. And those barriers ultimately turn into a cage which confiscates you. Remember, there is at the end of life going to be a cage in which you will be lowered into this ground. Why do we need to put on a cage before that day arrives? Let's break the shackles. Let's all embrace being the cause, because being the cause is a gift that you give to yourself. Here is to being the cause and shedding the because. Thank you very much for listening to me. If there are questions, I'm more than happy to take them. I believe I'm supposed to do a second segment on forming habits, which I can if there is time available.
Well, you just touched 20 minutes, and we have 10 more minutes total for
Okay.
your session, which includes 5
Sure.
minutes Q&A. So I think you can surely go ahead.
Sure. So the next piece of what I wanted to say is an extension of being the cause. Now, to be the cause for change, you need to first and foremost learn how to cultivate this habit of being the cause for change. And that, ladies and gentlemen, seems like a million-mile journey, which seemingly is impossible or improbable to achieve. But in my own life, and just before the meeting started, I was sharing with Swarna. She used the adage, which I will quote. She said, teaching an old dog a new trick. I consider myself a really old dog. Look at the whiteness of my beard. You will guess how many circles around the moon I have taken. And about 4 years back, when someone said, you should learn this, I said, me and learn at this age, not going to happen. I'm too rigid. I'm too set in my ways. Look at my thumb, it doesn't bend. And people with such a straight thumb are people who are inflexible to change. That's what I told this person. He told me just this. There is no problem at all. Just start. All you need to do is spend 5 minutes a day doing this. And we were talking about me getting back to my reading habit. I was a voracious reader till the age of 40, 41. And for a decade after that, books took not a back seat. Books just disappeared. All that remained in my life was this device called the phone. My life was all around emails, WhatsApps, and even prior to WhatsApps, Yahoo Messengers and whatnot. My life from a thick tome of 300 pages had reduced down to a few characters. And when I used to take up a book to read, within the first 20 lines, I would go like this. And before I finished the first page, I was fast asleep. And this to a person who was a reader from the age of 6. I was shocked at myself. I was petrified that I will lose this skill to read and absorb. And all my friend told me was, no problem. Try doing this every night before you go to bed. Just read 3 pages. Whatever you read, don't bother about what you're reading. Just read. Even if it is a catalog, even if it is a shopping brochure, even if it is a terms and conditions for some gadget or product you're buying, just read 3 pages. Once you get to the 3rd page, stop. Don't go further. After 10, 15 days, go to the 4th, then the 5th, then the 7th. And in a few weeks, you will suddenly be reading 30 to 40 pages before you go to bed. And that's good enough. Last night, I started reading at 11 p.m. I put the book down at 3:45 a.m. When I heard a prayer call coming from somewhere. I don't know which religion's prayer it was. It was a prayer call is what I remember. And that's when I put the book down and went to sleep. Now, this has been a transition. This took time. This took effort. There were at least 10, 15 times I chose to give up. There were many a number of times when I said, it's okay. Who am I showing off to? Nobody is watching me. If I go and tell my friends I read 40 pages or 500 pages, they're not going to know. And I have the gift of the gab. I can just talk my way through any concept. So big deal, no issues. But guess what happened? People have noticed the difference. They have come and said, when we talk about a book, you seem to be able to quote a paragraph from page 164, line 15 to line 19 properly. And that has become an unconscious habit. And therefore, cultivating a habit may at the beginning seem daunting, but it is not. If you choose to break it down into morsels. Remember when your mom fed you a meal, she never brought a plate full of food to you. Even if there was a plate full of food, she would break it down into morsels. she would say, okay, just 3. Just 3. See, you've been such a good boy. Now take the 4th. Now take the 5th. See, you've already done 5. Now take 2 more. That's how habits form, because your brain rewards you positively each time you take 2 steps. Then pause, then wait, then progress further. Second is when you set yourself small goals. I will read 3 pages today. I will walk 10 minutes today. I will eat just 1 piece today. That way, then you get yourself on the treadmill and keep taking that 1 extra step. One of the biggest challenges that a lot of us face is the challenge to lose weight. And people tend to give up very quickly. Going to the gym in the beginning seems fancy. You will buy the best Nike shoes. You will buy the greatest Under Armour workout suit. You will go and join the most expensive gym. 3 days you will visit. 4th day you will stop with a whole bunch of becauses. Because my boss is shouting at me, because I have to get to office early, because I don't have the energy in the mornings, I'll go in the evening. But guess, those people that invest small amount of time incrementally over a period of time, suddenly at the end of 9 or 10 months, when you shake hands with that person, he or she crushes your fingers. And you say, what is wrong with you? It's just that I've been going to the gym for just 30 minutes a day for the last 9 months. And suddenly you see their biceps are bulging, their chests are busting out of their t-shirt, and their bellies have gone in. And you then become envious of them. And then you come to the because, he can do it because his office is close to the gym. His wife is taking care of all the problems in his house. Because his children are grown up. That because is what holds you back. Whereas that half an hour of investment suddenly pays you back manifold if you want to. So forming an habit is entirely up to you. There are multiple tricks of the trade. I will not bore you with the entire detail, but the one thing that works for me is what I will share. I use my phone now to take notes. My notes are 4 lines. And these 4 lines talk back to me saying, Sudarshan, you did well today. Sudarshan, you read 4 pages. Sudarshan, you spent 45 minutes in the gym. Sudarshan, you have achieved your number of steps today. So the next time I read it, it gives me a positivity about myself. And I don't get overburdened by it. There are days when I give up. There are days when I don't do it. There are days when I'm a naughty boy and end up eating sweets and probably having a drink or 2. There are those things I do, but then I come back and read this. Much like when you take 30 seconds after this to give me feedback. Trust me, I will cherish each feedback, keep it carefully. And on those days when I transgress time or get disqualified for using a taboo topic or some such thing, I'll go back and read and say, Swarna said you were good. That makes me feel great to continue the journey of Toastmasters. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the habit that I have been on for the last 13 years. Hopefully, I will continue for another 13 and more if all things remain as they are. Thank you again, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Sudarshan. What a wonderful keynote speech. So I always look up to you for your speeches because I admire them a lot. And Timer, do we have time to take 1 or 2 questions?
Yes, we do. Actually, our
Okay.
prepared speeches are scheduled to start in about 10 minutes. So we have that much.
Okay. So the floor is open for questions. If you have any questions, you can directly ask Sudarshan, DTM Sudarshan. Okay. DTM
DTM
has a
Sudarshan,
question.
I have a question.
Yes, DTM Iram.
Preparing new habits or breaking new habits, does it have a connection with age?
The short answer and the lazy answer is yes, it has. The real answer is absolutely not. Because I happened to meet a Toastmaster, a DTM here in Dubai, who is a music teacher by profession. And I said, DTM Alok, I want to start learning Hindustani classical from you. And I've never learned a single syllable of music, by the way. And I said, I am 53 years old. Do you think I can learn? He said, Sudarshan, do you see that lady at the back of the room? Toastmaster Rashmi. She's 84. She's my student. So it's entirely up to you, because habits can be picked up or given up at any age. A 2-year-old child picks up a habit. Why do you think that happens? That child is doing it unconsciously. Our rational mind is what blocks us from picking up habits that we want to. And another thing that I would say is a teetotaler will become an alcoholic even at the age of 50 by giving it reasons as to why they are doing the bad habit. It is the good habits that take age as an excuse, not the bad habits. So the absolute truth is that age has got no bearing with habit formation. Anybody can form any habit.
Thank you very much for reassuring.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
so next question is from DTM Talha.
Thank you. First of all, DTM Sudarshan, thank you. I've already given you my feedback. And can I ask you your situation with book reading? I am kind of going through the same thing. When did you have it, and when did you overcome it? What precise time frame?
So to say that I've overcome it is a little difficult, because
Right.
even today, like everyone else, I get caught in this rabbit hole of Insta reels and YouTube videos and all of that. That happens to me as well. But what I have consciously done is, over the last 8 years now, my bedstand doesn't have anything except my charger and my books. And when I go to bed, my phone goes into sleep mode, except for 4 people that can call me: my 2 sons, my wife, and my sister. Nobody can call me because all calls get blocked. I keep my phone away and make sure I read. And I read different types of things. So I realized that I started reading a singular type of book, and then it was boring. At that time of the night, when you have had a bad day and you want to read some self-help or motivation books, it is the worst thing you can do to yourself. That's when I go to fiction. I will read 5 pages of fiction, then read something else. So end up reading an eclectic mix, which helps me continue the habit. And that's the only thing that. So now going to bed has become an activity I look forward to, because I can go to my books. And therefore I go to bed early as well. I go to bed by 9:45, 10.
Thank you for that. I think that's very useful, because that's the same. And what makes it worse is I'm not even addicted to social media. Instead, I'm addicted to various websites and news and everything, technology, and I end up spending my time browsing them instead of reading something useful. The second drawback is that I have all my books as ebooks on my phone. I think that's also something that
That I gave up. That I gave up.
Yeah.
I had a Kindle. I don't know where my Kindle is now. It is somewhere at home, but I don't use it, because
at least it should be
was a
even
problem.
if it is, because I'm a strong advocate for ebooks versus for the environmental and everything. But I think it doesn't have if your books live right on your phone, it should at least be a different device. That's where you will be away. Thank you for
So
that.
one last thing I will add to whatever you said. One of my mentors in Toastmasters once asked me, so Sudarshan, if you don't read the news, don't watch the news, do you think world will stop turning? Why do you need to watch the news or read the news unless you're going to do something about it? So do it once in a day for a short while, but don't waste your time talking about stuff that you can't do anything. Therefore, you will not find me talking about politics ever. I will not pontificate on economics or economic theory where I don't know what it is about. So cutting out things helps a lot. And I don't watch the news at all. I have not watched the news for the last 15 years now.
Same here. For me, it's technology news, not political news at all. And if a news is important enough, if it matters enough, it will make
It will come to you.
automatically.
It will somehow make its way to you.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you for that, DTM.
Yes, DTM Swarna.
Okay. Thank you very much for a very insightful sharing. As always, all of us, many of us may have the gift of the gab, but whether we make sense is one thing, and you always make sense. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, coming to my question on habit. Okay, there are 2 things that I struggle with. One is, of course, if it is something that I enjoy, I want to do it, then it seems to be easier than something that I must do. For giving an example is exercise, right? Is a must do because of health and things like that. But it's something that I don't enjoy doing. And I find that I do 21 days, I do 48 days sometimes, but then after that I give up. So what do you do when you are forming a habit that is required, but maybe you don't enjoy doing it?
Great question. And first paradigm is to shift your mind from the required to finding the enjoyment in that. So one of the things that I used to be a marathon runner, and when I first started running, I couldn't do even 2 kilometers. At the end of 2 kilometers, my shins would start paining, my knees would start aching, etc., etc. And it was easy to give up. And in fact, the point at which I would give up was a point of a tea shop where the other runners are running and I'm sitting in the tea shop having tea and samosa. So that was me. But what I changed was to try and figure out what can give me happiness in that activity. So now I do gymming. I stopped running and I do gymming. And I hate gymming, trust me. I have no passion for lifting weights above my head, etc., etc. But I do it because I made friends. I go and hang out with them. And that gives me enough motivation to go every morning, wake up at 5, go walking to the gym, say hello to 5 people, meet my dentist, meet her husband, meet a few other people. And then once you get into the rhythm and the mood, the team takes over. They become the cause for my joy in doing an activity which doesn't give me pleasure at all. It gives me only calluses. It doesn't give me pleasure. But I do it because I found a new way of enjoying it. A walking habit, eating healthier. I tried that. I tried eating salads for 21 days. I hated it. I completely detested it. Now I can't see a bowl of salad. But now when I sit down for a meal, I include a little bit of salad. About 20-25% of my meal is a salad, despite the fact that I don't like it. Because it is my precursor to whatever else that I enjoy, which I'm going to eat. So it is just a trade-off that you give yourself. The only thing with habits is it should not be a burden. If so long as you don't make it a burden and you try to find strands of happiness in that, you will keep at it. Every morning, if you are going out for a walk, just smile at few people. 3 of them will become your walking partners. In 15 days, you will become a walkers Toastmasters club. And you will all walk and make speeches. So think about that. You can be the first one in the world to create a walkers Toastmasters club. And that's incentive enough for you to form that habit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. Timer, I think the time is up, or do we have some time?
Yes, time is up. Time is up, but
Okay.
you can always use the chat box for further questions.
Okay. Thank you. So let's move on to the next segment, that is the prepared speeches. We have 2 speakers today. And before I welcome the first speaker, I would like to invite the evaluator, DTM Eren Rizvi, to speak about the speech objective.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. So my speaker today is going to present his icebreaker speech, and he's following the path of presentation mastery. It's level 1, project 1. And my speaker is going to have his first speech, understand the structure of how speech has to be done, and this is more of his introduction. Timer, please note, the timing is 4 to 6 minutes. Dear Toastmaster of the Day, can I go ahead introducing my module evaluators?
Yes, please.
All right. So I would like to hear a yes from the team. So the auditory part is going to be evaluated by DTM Sudarshan.
Yes.
Great. The visual part will be evaluated by Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Yes, please.
Great. The perceptible part will be evaluated by DTM Savarna. Wonderful. And the language and structural part will be done by our TMOD, GK Ajay.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
All right. So now I would like to invite the speaker, that is Toastmaster Awais Mohammed Butt. And because it's an icebreaker, so we will not be introducing him. The topic for the speech is, it's on you to get you where you want to be. It's on you to get you where you want to be. Toastmaster Awais Mohammed Butt.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ram and fellow Toastmasters. I just want to check if everybody can hear me because I'm in Rawalpindi and I'm having a bad internet here. I don't know if it's because of some recent things which are going on, but I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, you're
Yes, you're
perfectly.
clear. You're audible.
Can you see my window, Awais? That will be the timing window. Can you see it?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can see you. I can see your window. Okay. So, yeah. So I would like to start by making a confession that this is not the first time I'm speaking in front of an audience. Like I've spoken a number of times before during a seminar for first aid in disasters, for my master's defense, and for my PhD defense as well. But let me tell you that each of those moments was because I had to speak, not because I wanted to speak. It was more of like a speak or suffer the consequences. Today is different. Today, as I'm standing here, or rather sitting here, it is because I actually want to. No one is forcing me, no one is asking me, and my grades or my semester progress are not at stake. I'm not trying to convince everybody to do a CPR as well. So today I'm purely here for self-improvement, and that is to become a confident public speaker. And before I get on with that speech, I would like to thank the one person who has nudged me, who has sort of dragged me on this journey. So that is my teacher, my mentor, and my friend TM Imran Rana. Thank you, sir, for introducing me to this path. So let me formally introduce myself. My name is Awais Mohammed Bhatt, and I am an assistant professor in the civil engineering department at NAST. Like many of you here, I am on a self-improvement journey. And for me, that means to become an exceptional public speaker. So I would like to start by taking you all on a small journey with me. I will take you to some of the very frosty nights during the first semester of my master's program in Colorado. So picture this. It was minus 20 degrees Celsius temperatures, snow everywhere, and me, a person from Karachi. So you can very well imagine I was freezing both literally and metaphorically. I was an honor student during my undergraduate studies in Pakistan, but there in Colorado, I was struggling because of that intense education system, their relentless coursework. I was barely managing to pass despite putting in my best effort. I was overwhelmed and disheartened. I was not sure why I was there. During one of the chilly nights, as I was hiking back to my dorm room or my home, I came across a quote on one of the walls of Colorado School of Mines. It said, "It's on you to get you where you want to be." Those words hit me really hard. I realized in that particular moment that instead of focusing on how hard things have become, I need to focus more on how hard I'm willing to try for it. And that's what I exactly did after that. I put my head down and I start focusing on my studies and pushing through the semesters. And no, I did not achieve straight A's during that semester. I did only decently. The next 3 semesters were a different story though. I continued working hard, I stayed persistent, and ultimately I graduated as an honor student with a full scholarship for my PhD. those words on that frosty night on that singular wall of Colorado School of Mines changed my life. And those words have become the desktop of my laptop, my desktop, my mobile screen. I teach it to my student as a mantra. It's on you to get you where you want to be. So here's the thing. In life, you don't see the results sometimes immediately in the short term. It takes some times before you see your results. So, but let me promise you one thing, that in the long run, if you stay on course, you stay persistent, you will see the impact of your hard work. So, as I embark on my Toastmasters journey, and as I sit here, I know that my public speaking skills and improving them are on me. No one else is going to do it for me. It's me and the courage to step out of my comfort zone. And it's a reminder to all of us that we are the masters or the architects of our destiny. We are the ones who are actually responsible for turning our aspirations to reality. So let's put in the effort and make it happen, because the only limits we have are the ones we put our own self, our own selves. I thank you all, and with that I end my speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Awais. If it was a physical meeting, then I would have requested everybody to give a standing ovation. So everybody, can you please give a round of a clap?
We still can give a standing.
Yes.
You are still standing. We can stand as well.
Yes, please. So we will stand, and a round of applause for you for starting your journey. Yes, a round of applause from Zahra
No,
too.
it's okay. My internet is unstable, so
All right. So Toastmaster, so I'm going to start
so
the
I
timer.
cannot see the video if
Start
everyone
my
is stuck.
evaluation.
So
All right. So Toastmaster Awais, wonderful attempt. And it's on you to get you where you want to be. And I feel there is such a flow of the keynote speech that we had. We were all in that mood that, we have to take charge of our lives. We have to start the journey, whatever we believe in. And then there you come with this icebreaker. So, of course, every time when we evaluate a speech, it has to be done for the speech, but I cannot hold myself to connect you with the theme of the day and also with the keynote speech. And if you have done this speech, prepared this after seeing the keynote topic, kudos to you. This is a brilliant attempt that all the speakers should do, that once they know what is the theme of the day or the keynote, they can always connect their content around that, because everybody gets into the mood of hearing things around that topic. So thank you so much for doing that. I love the way how you have a brilliant vocal clarity. Amazing. And I like that how you use simple words, how you took care of each word to be clear. You did know that you had a connection issue. For that, if you have taken this extra mile, that extra step for that, amazingly done. Because nowhere I could see a disconnection, nowhere there was any skip of word because of the vocal clarity. So kudos for that. And I like the way that you brought in a personal story, and you brought in by attaching again to the topic and sticking to the quote in itself. The only place where I would give you two recommendations, and that is my view of seeing it, is that in the beginning you shared everything that, I'm about to introduce, I'm about to start, I'm about to do this. And then you also thanked your mentor. If I was doing this speech, I would start from the story. And then in the end, the part where 1.5 minutes I'm using with the message, I will bring in the thanking part, and I will say that this is how today I have started my journey. So I am a fan of, starting with, so picture this. I like doing that. And Toastmaster Latif also knows I love that. That, start with a story. So this is what I would do. And secondly, remembering that in online meetings, we are all from very different parts of the world. Today, we saw our table Toastmaster of the day, who was pronouncing Cohen. So Cohen is very normal for people who are living in Dubai for a long time and all, but then for anybody to read that out, it's difficult. So this shows that we all don't know exactly how the temperature, how the weather is. So when you say I'm from Karachi, so I was freezing. So you have to slightly share the background of Karachi. It's a
Okay.
sunny city where the degrees goes up to 52 degrees at times, and we only have winter for 6 weeks, and that's it. So, a bit of for 10 seconds of a background so we can picture what Karachi is all about. All in all, brilliant attempt. Wonderful vocal clarity. I love the story part. I love your confidence. Just work a bit on placement that, bring the story first and then the opening and the pitch part and the message part in the end, and bit of a background of the things which is not really related to all the people sitting in a meeting
Okay.
because they belong to different regions. So wish you all the best. Now I'm going to start
Okay.
inviting my modular evaluators. So Toastmaster Awais, you have to also note down few points that you're going to take away with you, because in the end, we are going to take your feedback for 1 minute on all the evaluations that you're going to receive. So my first evaluator is DTM, my team. So first one is DTM Sudarshan, and he's going to evaluate you on the auditory part of your speech. DTM Sudarshan, over to you.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster OS, I am going to give you feedback in two components. And maybe I inadvertently said DTM because I see you as one very soon. You are in the profession of education, which means the use of your voice is going to be vital. My wife is an educator, so I know exactly what happens to her voice. In fact, I was blessed by an ENT surgeon when he told me your wife has to go on complete vocal rest for 15 days. Can you imagine my happiness in his chambers at that point in time? So my feedback is as such. You have a natural texture to your voice, which can make your speeches sound deep and profound. To give you an example, your speech title is a magnificent title which can be rendered in great eloquence if you so choose to do so. If I were to read out your speech title, it is on you to get you where you want to be. The moment you figure out where to pause, where to lay emphasis, where to intonate, it becomes extremely attractive. Coming from someone like you, who has the subject matter expertise and who has the ability to communicate in crystal clear tones, because your words are specific, very clear. So that's your attribute. Just learn this trick to breathe in, hold your word, and then go on to the next statement. The next one is to modulate your voice. There were times the temperatures were freezing, snow all around. The moment you depict it that way, we see the snow around us despite you being in sweltering Karachi today, but I can see the snow in Colorado in your voice. So these are tricks that you will learn as you go along, and this will serve you in good stead both in class, especially when you're teaching engineering drawing and half the kids are not understanding what you're telling them. It will be very useful if you can modulate your voice, because even the sleepiest person will suddenly wake up and look at you saying, prof is saying something. And that is a win for you. So that's my 2 bits. I think Talat tried all colors to dissuade me, but I didn't budge. And I'm sure I exceeded my time. Back to you, Toastmaster Hiran.
Thank you very much, DTM Sudarshan. Now
Thank
inviting
you.
my modular evaluator, Toastmaster Imran Rana, for the visual part.
Okay, confirm my audibility, please.
Yes,
Okay,
you
great.
are audible. Don't buy time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abes, for delivering such a wonderful icebreaker speech. Okay, so as per the visual parts, you were perfectly visible. Your background was so aligned that we can you were visible and other things are not. So it's the best thing to have a plain background. Uh, the way you were describing your gestures, your body language, they were visually aligned with what you were telling us about your hand gestures. When you were clasping your hand, it will look nice. But when you were doing that, like means playing with your fingers. So that shows the nervousness. I've seen that your eye contact was quite visible, but I've observed that sometimes when you were excited, your eye contact was means you closed your eyes, so it disconnect your contact with the audience. Overall, a wonderful speech, and thank you so much for mentioning me. Otherwise, your icebreaker wouldn't have completed. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. Now I would like to invite DTM Savarna to handle the perceptible part. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Awais, beautiful speech for icebreaker speech. And truly, we know that this is not your first speech because I love the pace and poise of your delivery. How did I feel? There were a couple of things that I would like to highlight. One is I feel very comfortable listening to you. You give that feeling of comfort because you deliver it at a very wonderful pace. You don't go fast, you don't go slow. It was just nice to capture everything. And number two is on the screen, we see your calm and composed picture there. You don't react. You didn't show your nervousness or anything like that. Initially, I did see that there was no eye contact. You were looking down, but over a period of time, you picked it up and you were looking at us. So made us all feel wonderful here, listening to your story, listening to your journey into Toastmasters. So welcome to Toastmasters, and I love every bit of your delivery. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM Savarna. Now I would like to invite DTM GK Ajay for the structural and language part.
Okay, thank you, DTM Adam Rizvi. The speaker, Awais, and if I'm correctly pronouncing it, the first thing I noticed is the speech title is very catchy. I have to read twice to understand it, but it's a very meaningful title. And as you are an experienced speaker, you have a rich English incorporated in your speech, and it flowed like a fresh river water, and it went very smoothly. And I enjoyed your speech, and in fact, I have to be very vigilant to observe your English language or the language which you used, and the structure is very well structured, and think you will become a great public speaker. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you very much, DTM Ajay. And now I'm going to request our icebreaker speaker, Toastmaster Awais, to share his views on the evaluation that he has received. And you have a minute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Iram and fellow Toastmasters. I agree with all the points which I've made. I believe means I was nervous. I have to confess. I have to make this confession again. I was a bit nervous because I think I can speak in front of students, not in front of evaluators. It might get a little bit. So thank you so much for the evaluation. I totally agree with all the comments. I have noted them down. I agree with the structure part that I need to start with the more like as Toastmaster Iram pointed out that picture this. I have to start with something like this. And then I agree with my hand gestures and eye contact that sometimes like I was figuring out what I want to say and where I was. So thank you so much for your comments. And I will try and incorporate all those points in my next coming
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Awais, and wish you all the best. You are an amazing speaker for Icebreaker. I wish you all the best. Handing the charge over back to TMOD, DTM Ajay.
Thank you, DTM Adam Rizvi. So let's move on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Zilla Hamid. Before I invite the speaker onto the stage, I would like to request the lead evaluator, DTM Swarna, to read out the speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Ajay. The Toastmaster Silha Hamid is speaking on her pathways presentation mastery level 2, and the project is communication styles. The speech title is Actions Speak Louder Than Words. And today with me on the panel of module evaluators are, for auditory, Toastmaster Mobina. Is Toastmaster Mobina here?
Ma'am, Swarna, I can take up her place.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
Mobina
okay.
is there. Mobina is there.
Wow,
Good,
wonderful,
good.
wonderful. Okay, then for auditory, we have Toastmaster. For visual, we have DTM Talha bin Hamid. For perceptual,
Sorry, Swarnaji. Yeah, I would love to do it, but taking advantage of the presence of Toastmaster Latif, if he can be the visual evaluator, that would be amazing.
Latif?
If he's willing. Why waste his presence?
Oh, okay, okay. So,
I have a confession. I'm already replacing DTM Eram actually.
oh, you're already replacing DTM Miram.
Oh.
Okay.
That's why Aram is laughing. Okay.
Latif, we want to hear you. We can give it to DTM Sudarshan because it's good to have him here.
I think Swarna, it's up to you now to
Yeah.
choose
Okay,
who
okay,
who
visual.
to draw. Yeah.
Okay, visual, we will, since you're doing timer, I will give visual to DTM Sudarshan, yeah? And perceptible is Toastmaster Latif, and then language, structure and language is Toastmaster Iram Rana. Okay, wishing you all the very best, Sila. Looking forward to your speech, and over to you.
1 minute, Madam Speaker. Let me introduce your speech title. Okay, the speech title is Actions Speak Louder Than Words. Actions speak louder than words. Toastmaster Sila Hamid. Over to you, ma'am.
The importance of communication is hearing what isn't said. Peter Drucker says, remind us that communication is not about.
Excuse me, Toastmaster Sila. Sorry. Does anyone also feel that her voice is a little too low? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, not very clearly audible.
Can you come a little closer, Toastmaster Sila, and speak a little louder?
Okay, and can you please confirm me the timing as well?
Yeah, I'm timing and I'll be issuing an audio signal as well. I think now you're perfectly audible, if I'm correct. Anyone? Can everyone confirm?
Am I audible?
Yes, now you
clear.
are. Yes, now you are.
The importance of communication is hearing what isn't said. Peter Drucker reminds us that the communication is not about the word we say. It's about how truly we listen and understand. Because sometimes it is not what is said, but what is unsaid that speaks the loudest. Dear Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, have you ever wondered what left unsaid in our conversation? Or how often do you focus on the words and forget the rest of the things? Yes, we do quite often. Let's explore how our actions, our responses, our behavior, and willingness to listen often speak far louder than the words. When I feel how I communicate, I just realized my own journey as a communicator that evolved through 4 distinct communication styles. 4 communication styles are direct communication style, initiating communication style, supporting communication style, and analytical communication style. Let me give you a quick briefly explain you all these communication styles. Direct communication style is just like a clear one-to-one. It is just like a badminton game. Shot by shot, eye to eye. If you miss it, you are missed. It's so clear and without any unnecessary elaboration. So come to the initiative communication style. It is all about the speaker always love to take initiative, bring up with the new ideas, new suggestions, and the point is always to keep the ball rolling. When you come to the supportive communication style, it is about if a person heard that the friend is in pain or upset, you will always listen, come up with the teamwork, always listen and try to show the empathy. It is more like a volleyball player or the football player. They always go for the shared goal, go for the together for a teamwork. Then analytical communication style. I just refer it as like a chess player. They always take a move by thinking, logics, facts, and they always believe on the facts and the logics. But these communication styles are not just to choose the words, they shape us how to connect with others. While I was growing up, I relied heavily on analytical communication style. I lost my mom in an early age, and in that pain, I found myself to be connected with logic and focus on the structure. I clung to the focus because it somehow it gave me a sense of control to the world which was unexpected. Whenever I was upset, I never shared anything with anyone. I tried to analyze it by myself. But after a time, I realized that this approach is not going to connect me with the pupil. It is not much enough. It's not as much to be connected with the pupil. I realized I was not building relationship. I was creating a wall. Then I became a teacher. At that very moment, I began embracing the supportive communication style. I realized that teaching is not only delivering lesson, it was about showing up for your students, feeling the pain of them, and listening to their struggles and demonstrating empathy. There was one moment, one life-changing moment. I learned a very powerful lesson from my student named Sarah. She was quite capable, young, and she seemed disengaged in the classroom. I assumed that she is not understanding anything or she needs explanation. I gave her the explanation and gave her some extra notes, but nothing was changed. One day, instead of diving into the lesson, I stopped, paused, and I looked at her and I talked to her. I asked her, "How's everything going, Sarah?" She looked down and hesitated, then looked up, and she told me that overwhelming responsibility she's having at her home. And she has to look after her younger siblings because her mom passed away. And father is up to his eyes in his work because of the multiple businesses. That was a moment when I realized something crucial, that sometimes people do not need to be having any advices or any kind of a favor. They just need someone to listen, someone to show empathy, someone to listen what is unsaid. Then I grew older. I just tried to combine the supportive with the
6 minutes.
Initiative communication style. I realized that I can speak, I could spark conversation. I do not need anyone to approach me. I just started taking it first step, and then I joined Toastmasters International. And I opted for the leading roles, deliver speeches, and you know what? I won most of them. Each of these styles shaped me what I am today. They have taught me how to lead, how to listen, and how to develop a connection in a deeper level. Dear Toastmasters, communication is not about showing words. It's about how we follow those words into a meaningful actions. And remember, action speaks louder than words. They do. And the way we communicate through these actions, they can shape our world into a meaningful action, meaningful and profound way.
7
Thank
minutes.
you so much. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So may I request DTM Swarna to initiate the evaluations.
Thank you very much. Can we see Silha? I can't see her now.
Yeah.
Okay, Sila. Okay, let me start mine. A fabulous speech on why we need to see or hear the unheard. Beautifully said. With your stories, with your own personal story and your experience as a teacher. Very wonderfully done. So I commend you for delivering this speech and highlighting the importance of how communication works. Let me evaluate you on looking at the various aspects that were done well and where you can improve. Now, coming to what really stood out in your speech was your storytelling. You started off to tell your own story of losing your mom and how you went on to become an analytical communicator, trying to put logic and analysis and focusing on what is needed, but found that it did not help you to connect, but went on in your employment as a teacher where you learned the skill to be supportive and empathetic, and you realized that how you could still connect with someone struggling and help them to evolve. So beautiful transition, beautiful storytelling, and you gave us the reason why you think and why we all should remember that action speaks louder than voice or what we heard or the words. So truly in your speech, I could pick up everything that you said. Thank you very much on that. We all need to improve. And where is that improvement? While you did your speech for matching the project objective, I would say don't spend time explaining to us the different styles that are there. Focus on your style. You could have just gone straight on to say, as a youngster, I realized my style was analytical, and these are my reasons. I lost my mom, and then you go on to share that, right? And then you go on with the rest of it. So what would have happened is we focus on where you are as a communicator. Number two is, while we know that actions speak louder than words, we also have to remember unnecessary movement of hand is distracting. So remember how to use purposefully your hand. While you did enunciate certain words very beautifully, but you also have to do the same way when you're using your hand. Don't use it too much because it can cause distraction. So with these 2 points to look forward to your improvement in your next speech, let us now move on to our modular evaluations with our wonderful panel of evaluators here today. So let me invite our first evaluator who will be doing the auditory segment, Toastmaster Mobina. Toastmaster Mobina, you have a minute to share your evaluation.
Okay. Thank you so much, DTM Suvarna. Now coming to Toastmaster Sela. Your speech was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As DTM Swarna said, the storytelling was wonderful. I won't go into the details. What that will be a repetition of what DTM Swarna said. Regarding your voice, you could use your voice effectively. I have 2 points here. The first is, the tone of your voice. It was like, a monotone. You could easily either raise or lower the pitch of your voice. somewhere during, telling the stories. And another thing, it seemed to me, it's my point of view, that your speech was long and you were in a rush to finish it. This is what many Toastmasters do, which, we can solve this by, paying attention to the word count of our written speech. If we are, cautious about that, we can have very effective pauses during the speech. And I must say, pauses are very important while you are speaking. These are the two things that I noted, which you could improve upon. Otherwise, your speech was wonderful. It had personal stories. It had what you went through in life, and then what happened to other people who touched your life. And it had all the ingredients of a good speech. Back to you, DTM Swarna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mubina. Timer Talha, can I request you to raise hand? Maybe people are not able to see you. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's go on to our visual segment and request DTM Sudarshan to share his evaluation. Is he there? Oh, he's dropped off. He's there.
Are you there?
But I think he's.
Maybe you can come back to him later.
Okay. So let us move on with Perceptible with Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you, DTM Savarnam. For me, Toastmaster Sila Hamid's speech was very, it's all about how I felt or how the audience have felt. I feel that your speech had a personal touch, your hardship, your emotions, and willingness to change the way of spoken language was very much visible. And I really love the way you shared or you took the pause while delivering your speech. So it gives us every time moment of thinking. And last but not the least, the rhetorical question which you asked in the beginning and during the speech also you said it. So it's all about to listen what not has been spoken. Amazing, and good luck for future projects.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latif. And we move on to the next segment, which is structural and language to Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Okay, thank you so much, DTM Savannah. I'm sure I'm audible. Okay, great. Thanks to Toastmaster Latif for giving me such a wonderful gift. Okay, so Toastmaster Salah Hamid, you delivered quite a wonderful speech. If we look as per the structure, so your speech is with chronological structure. You had a proper opening, then you had a body in which you explained the different types of language, different type of communication styles, plus you brought your personal stories, and finally the conclusion part and the way you brought your speech title, that action speaks louder. It was quite amazing and inspiring. I really love the way you explain the communication styles with examples, especially the tennis or the long tennis or whatever. That was quite one-to-one. That was quite amazing. So the only area of improvement is, again, Toastmaster Mubina Raut mentioned that the content was too much and you ended up abruptly. So over to you, lead evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. For the visuals, can I request DTM Ajay to share, because I can't see Sudarshan switching on his.
Okay, let's check if. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay. So thank you, DTM Swarna, for giving me an opportunity to speak about the visual aspects of the speaker. As per the visual aspects, the speaker took a proper or exact position in front of the camera, and I can see her background is also good in terms of not overlapping her face or the things, but she is good, and that's all from my end. Over to you, DTM Swarna.
Thank you very much. And this concludes our evaluation for you, Toastmaster Silha. So can I request you to share your feedback on the whole experience of the speech? You have a minute.
Yes, I would really like to say something, and that is that the topic was really, near to my heart. And when I read the instruction of the projects, I really liked it, and that is how I wrote this, and I tried to deliver my own personal experiences along with that. That how I started communication. I used to be a shy girl at my school. I was a person who was muted always and a person who never can speak. If you could see me in my school days, I was a kind of a dumb girl. So that really, the project that really touched me, and tried my level best to show the world that how I transformed my life, how I transformed myself into a speaker, and still I'm trying to be a good speaker. As you're mentioning that my hand gesture should not be moved that much, so I would definitely work on it. And the area of improvement which you guys have mentioned, that I am taking them for a lifetime. And I always remember that if you do a mistake, it should be one time. Never repeat a mistake. So I am a kind of a person who never does it. So can I share one story? One of my teacher told me at my university when I was doing my master's, we bunked the class because the weather was so good. And I was the one who said that, sir, we did it first time. And then he said, and the last. Always remember, whenever you do the mistake, it should be the first and the last. So I will be taking all your feedbacks, the positive feedbacks. I'm really glad. I'm really thankful to all of you for listening me and making me speak in front of you. And it was a really wonderful journey, wonderful time spending with you guys, listening all of you, all of the learned people. It's really remarkable, and I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Silha. And I wish you all the very best in your Toastmasters journey. And I also want to commend your mentor, who has brought you into this into this journey. So whoever is your mentor, please go and thank them as well. And over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Swarna. This concludes the prepared speech segment. Now, let's move on to the next segment. That is Geek of the Week. And before that, a poll has been launched for the best speaker. Please vote for that. Okay, so now, as we are moving into the next segment, that is the Geek of the Week, may I invite the Geek of the Week, DTM Talha Hamid, to take over the control.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So today, the geek of this week session arises out of a video that I just saw, and I was truly amazed. The video was titled, "How Does Google Even Exist?" And if you think about it, let me share with you some statistics that are truly out of this world. This is what happens per minute on Google. 3.47 million YouTube videos watched, and yet not one stutters or stops. And then 231 million emails sent. And you can see all the other statistics too. People shopping online, 6.3 million Google searches, 44 million people viewing Facebook live streams, 350,000 tweets sent, 66,000 photos and videos shared on Instagram. Now, you would be thinking that, many of these platforms are not owned by Google. But let me come to that after a minute. Google is the most visited site in the world. And did you know which one is the second most visited site? Can anyone tell? Any idea? Any guesses? Okay. It is YouTube. That is the
YouTube,
second.
right? Yeah.
Yes, YouTube. That's the second most visited site. So both these sites are owned by Google. And everything else you see here, Snapchats and photos, these are being indexed by Google because they have to turn up in search results. So even if something is not happening on a Google platform, it has to be searched and indexed by Google. And we're not getting AI into this picture yet. That is a whole another ballgame. How does Google manage all this? I learned some very valuable things from the videos, and I think they are very well summarized in this. First of all, their data centers are distributed around the world, not only geographically, but data-wise too. That means that data from Pakistan, for example, will be stored in a server that would be separate from a server which stores data from, let's say, Iran or Saudi. Uh, just giving an example. So they're distributing their data processing geographically as well as topic-wise as well. And secondly, what they're doing is they are using Spanner, a globally distributed database that offers strong consistency and high availability. And how does that work? They're also using distributed systems, which means that sometimes they're using the company whose data they're hosting as the host itself. For example, any data about Toyota, again, I'm just giving an example, any data about Toyota that can be searched and that is publicly available might be housed on Toyota's own servers rather than Google servers. So Google may have made that request to them, and they would be happy to do so because that way their search results would be faster than all the others. They can manage their search results and access themselves, and Google gets to not spend the valuable storage space they have. So these are just some of the things that Google does, which makes it the world's largest processor of data. It not only, let me reinforce that, Gmail is the world's largest email service. Chrome is the world's #1 web browser. YouTube is the world's #1 video sharing site. And other than all that, they're also constantly monitoring and indexing everything else. Google Maps. Google Maps is the most used maps platform in the world. And guess how many people are using that every minute? There are so many other services, for example, Uber, for example, Careem, that are using Google Maps as their backend as well. So if you think about it, this amount of data should not be manageable by any entity, but it is managed each and every day. And that's why you never see, or almost never, they've got a 99% up rate. You almost never see them going down, getting stuck. You hardly see a YouTube video getting stuck. And whenever a YouTube video does get stuck, it probably is a problem at your end. So that's just what I wanted to point out, that we should not take for granted the facilities and the services that are available to us, including Google, including everyone else as us. We always complain about how we have to pay for them, how we have to watch ads in order to support them. But think about it, the money has to come from somewhere. If you are performing a service, if you are writing something, if you are making something, naturally you want a financial return out of it, not only because you want to make a profit, but you want to continue doing so. Think about those services and ads as equivalent to the meals that you have every day. You have to put something in your stomach in order to keep working, right? So over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Geek of the Week. Thank you so much. And let's move on to the next segment. And this will be conducted by a person who is handling multiple hats today. So the table topics segment will be conducted by DTM Talha bin Hamid again. So over to you, DTM Talha.
Thank you so much. It would be helpful if I can see everyone. So we have adopted recently a new paradigm around table topics, and you will see very soon what it's all about. I think, unfortunately, I wish to call Toastmaster Mubina first for table topics, but he may have dropped out. I would like to call Toastmaster Mohammed Yusuf. Toastmaster Mohammed Yusuf, are you there? Okay. Toastmaster Latif, where is Latif? Okay, now it is my turn to ask. Am I audible? Oh, yes. Okay. Toastmaster Latif. First of all, everyone, the word of the day is lucid, right? And secondly, what we'll be doing is we'll be assigning you a table topic, and then the next table topic speaker will be evaluating your table topic for 30 seconds before moving on to their table topic. So that's how we do table topics in quantum. So fortunately, you won't have to do this. You're the first speaker. The theme around today's table topic is something derived from DTM Sudarshan's keynote. It is something, it is called do more and do less. So I would ask you one thing that you'd like your son to do more and one thing to do less. One thing that you ask your son to do more and one thing to do. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Topic Master. Amazing thought, because for 10 seconds, I just went back and returned, bringing it out two things, which one of them I want him to do and one which I really don't want him to do. So it is like vice versa. I'm not a good preacher because I never lived a life which is fancily lived or ambitiously driven. I want him to live his age. So if he is 19, live your age. Respect your parents, be with your friends, do ethical things, remember to prayers, remember that you have a university to attend. Other things will follow, because most of them, the youth are always thinking about, I have to start a business, I have to do this. I all understand that. I don't vote them saying not to do, but I think that they have to live to this age, and that age will not get back to them whenever they are feeling or whenever they are, whenever once this time is gone. And second thing which I really want him not to do is it's okay if I can say a little louder, something which even TTM Suresh, the keynote speaker, always say this, and I always tell him, my son, you are the person what you do when you are alone. So whenever you don't want to do something, or you want to do something which is not right, not ethical, just think about it. You are not, when you are alone, you are the one person presenting yourself. So that is what I feel. I'm sorry I'm emotionally connected, but that's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif, and it's understandable. Anybody would get it. So, absolutely. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Imran Rana, and your newfangled fancy mic. We'd like to hear its results, which is not your mic, by the way. Toastmaster Imran, are you there?
No, I'm not there.
Yes, you are there. Okay.
So Toastmaster Imran has to first evaluate Toastmaster Latif, and then he will get his topic.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to evaluate Toastmaster Latif for 30 seconds.
For a minute.
Then you'll, for a minute? Okay, for a minute. Okay.
Please explain what should I do or what I have to do.
evaluate his table topics before moving on to your table topic.
Okay. So Toastmaster Latif, you spoke on the topic quite well, and I'm sure I'm audible, right? Okay, great. So you spoke on the topic quite well. You used some hand gestures. Initially, you were comfortable with the topic, and you were quite comfortable. Then uh, then you wanted to say something openly. Then you thought, and then you said it. So it's quite a nice way to use the whole time frame of the table topic, and this is a good technique to use it. Over to you, table topic Mas.
Okay, so Toastmaster Imran, word of the day is lucid, and your topic is one thing your best friend should do more, and one thing he should do less, or she.
Sorry, come again.
One thing your best friend should do more, and one thing he or she should do less.
He or she should do less.
Word of the day is lucid.
Thank you so much for this topic. Okay. It is rightly said that a friend in need is a friend in need indeed. And that's we usually said it for our best friends, and best friends are like what can we say, means best friend has all the liberty to do everything whatever he wants to, means there should not be a restriction. They are allowed to disturb them at any time and at every time. One thing that a friend's best friend should not do it, that he shouldn't regret his best friend, or he shouldn't stop his best friend to to what do we say, to interfere at any time. Since he is your best friend, so allow him to interfere every time instead of stopping him or her not to do that thing. So that's the one thing which I would suggest for the best friend not to do that. And what should there's no one thing he should allow to do whatever he wants to. So what do you think on topic is?
All right. Now, our next speaker is Toastmaster Mohammed Yusuf. Are you there? Yes, you are.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, Toastmaster Yusuf, first evaluate Toastmaster Imran's speech for 1 minute, and after that, I'll assign you your table topic.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Toastmaster Imran Rana has given speech as a table topic speaker. It was a good speech, and his justification to suggest about his friends what they should do and what they should not do. I think I am also agree with him. Overall, Imran Rana, I think it was a wonderful table topic speech by you, by moving hand gestures as well as having a smile on his face. And he has also laughing during his speech. That's a good thing, being a speaker. Or overall, I think he has attempted it well. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now your topic is, first of all, first let me know, is one or both of your parents still with you? Still in this world?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So your topic is one thing you should do more for your parents and one thing that you should do less.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tabletop Master. Good afternoon and good noon to everyone. I think what should I do more for our parents I think it is a respect. Respect means we should obey whatever they order to us or instruct to us. We should never, yeah, I should never disappoint both of them in anything that I disobey, because we all know that parents in our life has a very important role, and they because parents has done for us in the difficult times. They have grown us, they have invested in us in the form of time, in the form of money. That's why we are on the stage at that time in our life. So respect is the first thing which should we think we do for our parents, and the which should I think do less for our parents is that it's the vice versa of what I saying already, as said before. Uh, we should, I think, we should, which I should not do for my parents, is that if we whatever they ask me, or I can say that I have to speak not a lie, not tell a lie with them. I should always ask a truth, whatever the matter is. So I think the important thing is that I can say in one word, I should not tell a lie with our parents. Whatever we feel, whatever we do in our life, we have to speak with them truly. And that overall, I can say that we should respect our parents in every matter, and the other is that we should not tell a lie with our parents, and that's very important in our life. Thank you. Over to you, Tabletop Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. So well covered. And we'll have our last speaker, DT and GK Ajay. But before that, please evaluate Toastmaster Yusuf's speech for 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, Table Topics Master. Speaker Yusuf, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I like the way you handled the topic. The more love you wanted to share with your parents and less lies speaking with your parents. That's a wonderful thought. What I thought is you will be speaking about, say, when sometimes we are all humans, sometimes we tend to raise our tone with our parents. I thought you will be speaking on that as well. Lessen our tone, raising our tone with the parents uh, when we are not in a good mood. So that should be one of the things which we need to do as well. So, but overall, you handled the topic very well. Thank you so much, Yusuf.
Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, Ajay. So your topic is, and now since you're participating in table topics, you know that anything can come with it, right? So your topic is one thing you want your spouse to do more, and one thing you want your spouse to do less. One thing you want your spouse to do more, and one thing you want your spouse to do less.
Okay, thank you for the topic. Fortunately or unfortunately, she is at home now. She came back from office. If I'm open, then I'm closed in the next moment. Okay, the thing which I like her to do more is showing more care, more love towards me. So those are the things which I expect from her. And also wanted to give me enough room whenever I wanted to attend more Toastmasters meetings. That's what she is doing since 16 years. We are married 16 years, and she is giving enough space for me to attend or go anywhere I want in terms of attending Toastmasters meetings. And at the same time, I don't find anything that she has to reduce or she has to work upon things, because I don't find anything in terms of from that angle. But let me think what she can. No, she is very supportive. She is very. She gives me a lot of supportiveness, but I don't think so. So that's all. It's showing more love and care and giving enough room for me to grow other things which I expect from her, and she is doing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, DTM Ajay. And since you don't have a succeeding speaker, I will take the liberty of just commenting that I really admire how sincere you sounded. Really, really touching. Really touching. Yes, yes, Toastmaster Latif. Yes.
Let me have something to say.
I did not evaluate because I started.
Oh, okay, fine.
Excellent,
We can
excellent.
go that way. We can go that way. Okay.
So DTM Ajay, I understand that the topic thrown to you was the moment, or it's in the wrong timing because your wife entered. So you didn't have that liberty to make it more exaggerate or make it more louder than what it was. But I saw the love in that 1 minute of your speech, and I really feel that you people have shown that much of respect to each other that we can live their life, we can live their way, and there is nothing less we have want. It's always more we are liking in it. So amazingly ended, and I loved it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Master Latif. And yeah, I think that provides us a nice way to close, actually. Thank you for giving that idea, Latif, that the first speaker gets to evaluate the last one. Perfect circle. That's what I'll say. So thank you so much. And now, without further ado, yes, please vote for your favorite table topic speaker, and handing over the charge to our journal evaluator, Toastmaster Imran Raj, with his brand new mic, which is not this.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'm audible. Okay. So finally, we are in our last session of today's meeting, that is the evaluation segment. As we all know that we all need a feedback to improve ourselves. So this general evaluation segment in Quantum Leap is little different to our regular meeting. So we'll start with the report from the facilitator, and then I'll give my overall evaluation, and I'll hand over the charge to the Toastmaster of the day. So to start with the evaluation segment, I would request the language evaluator if he could present his report.
Actually, Toastmaster Mubina got disconnected. I have asked if she has written anything down, she can share. But I think for now we can.
So, okay. So we should move on to our next facilitator, and he is the timer of the meeting. So, DTM Talha, could you please present your report?
Okay, thank you so much. And I believe that at this point in time, we are exactly on schedule, and compliments to everyone, especially our keynote speaker was wonderfully disciplined. He knows the art of finishing a speech whenever he sees the red light, and finishing it very well and neatly, let me just add. I think the Q&A was conducted superbly as well. Both the question, the ones who asked the questions and the answers were kept very disciplined, very succinct. So thank you everyone for that. Both the speeches were within time, but the modular evaluators, especially while evaluating Toastmaster Aveza's speech, took their own sweet time, and they knew it was all 1 minute long, but they felt free to exceed. But the clever bit, DTMRM, our VP Education, has some built-in, some hidden buffers in the agenda precisely for such a situation. And thanks to that, we are right on time. The table topic speakers were within time, and also the mini evaluations they conducted were also within 1 minute. So absolutely superb job, everyone. When I was asked to conduct the Geek of the Week, perhaps that was the time when we were, I think, 4 or 5 minutes behind schedule. But we appear to have made it up because once again there was a hidden buffer. So all in all, right now we are on time, and everyone remained within time except for a few modular evaluators. Over to you, Toastmaster Environment.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Talha, for presenting such a valuable timing report. Okay, so since Toastmaster Mubina Rao is not with us, so I'll go with my overall evaluation. Today we off to with a good start. Toastmaster, we start on time. That's the best part of this quantum Toastmasters Club meeting. Toastmaster of the day explain different segments of today's meeting and introduces the segments quite well, and he set the tone of the meeting in a best manner. Then we had a wonderful keynote speech. We had a very good strength in the meeting. The keynote speech is what I love about the keynote speech was the eye-catching speech title because and the message of the keynote speech. As we all know, DTM Sudarshan is such a uh, wonderful speaker. He always come up with uh, amazing information and quite an eye-opening messages. So kudos to DTM Sudarshan. Then we had two wonderful speeches. I would like to congratulate both the speakers, especially to Master Grace. He started his icebreaker speech. As a general evaluator, I would like to suggest one more thing, that an icebreaker speech is all about you, your relationship, your family members, and your qualification and your overall background. So we heard about your PhD since you completed your PhD, and you mostly talk about your PhD, but I also wanted to know about your siblings, your relationship with your parents, and the uh, amazing years of our studies when we spent together as a student and teacher. So that would create a very good impact in your icebreaker speech. So maybe next time you can come up with your with more personal story. Overall, a wonderful speech by both of you, Toastmaster Avis and Toastmaster Salah. Then the evaluators were quite spot on, very supportive in their evaluation, and uh, a very supporting feedback provided by the modular evaluator. Then we had a quite an interesting table topic session. I observed it for the first time that uh, the coming speaker have to evaluate the outgoing speaker. So it's quite an interesting thing, and I think we should carry on this because there's no table topic evaluation in quantum data. In this way, we can have at least a minute of table topic evaluation. Uh, Overall, a meeting quite wonderfully conducted. Everyone played a wonderful role. So I would request all the members to participate as much as possible. If all of us participate, if we all participate in the meeting, then there will be a different impact. So overall, a wonderful meeting, and I must say that I thoroughly enjoyed the whole session. So with that, I would like to hand over the charge back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you. General Evaluator, DTM Talha.
Actually, you GE session just ended, so you are the PM only.
Okay. So thank you, General Evaluator. And now we are at the closing hours of the meeting. And I would like to hand over the control to our President, DTM Talha bin Hamid. Over to you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Toastmaster Imran, for that GE session, half of which was actually spent with your wish list that you wanted to be mentioned more in Aves's icebreaker speech. Let me remind you that icebreaker is supposed to cover family members and siblings in your own words, and schooling and everything. It is not supposed to be a biography of all the teachers and tutors that a person has ever had. And that I'm sure if Toastmaster West but ever wishes to conduct a keynote on you, we would welcome that chance. And West, that's your target, okay? Your keynote will be on Toastmaster and Rana. And it will involve everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you will get exactly what you asked for. So with that, let me announce the results first. Today, what a full and rich meeting we had. What an amazing meeting we had, despite the fact that at our peak we had 14 members, but now that has thinned out. But they were coming from all over the globe. We had we had an opening from the UK. We had someone from Kuwait. We have we have one person from India, from Singapore, one from Africa. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Best speaker today goes to Toastmaster West, but congratulations. Best evaluator goes to DTM Swarna. Congratulations. Best modular evaluator goes to Toastmaster Movina Rose. Congratulations. Best table topics today goes to Toastmaster Latif Mansoor. It was a clever way of jumping up, on the evaluation in the last minute that handed him the victory. But no, it was well deserved. And the good part is everybody got votes in the table topic. So it's not as if anyone was ignored, but you won. So, that kind of victory is the best because everyone getting a vote means that at least one person thought that you were the best speaker. Now, if that person were yourself, that's another story. But even then. So, and finally, the best major role play today goes to, it goes to, okay, now I get what Ajay was trying to say. I mistakenly wrote my name against GE, but I think everybody knew who it was, and that's why he won. Toastmaster Imran Rana, although maybe he won because people wanted to vote for me, and instead they ended up voting for me. Anyhow, so with that done, first of all, I will.
This is the best way to win.
I will call this meeting to a close at the exact designated time, 1:15 p.m. and stop.